I want to talk about Marie and hear, her journey to, co-founder of MB Beans. So I'm so excited. Marie, take it away. Tell us a little bit about you, about your story, how you get started. I know it hasn't been a long time, but man, I've seen some good stuff so far. So I couldn't wait for you to share.
Yes, thank you, Eneri. I appreciate you wanting me to speak here. Yeah, so I've always loved coffee since a very young age. Coffee was something, that in the Hispanic family you grew up with. And then as I got older, I started learning more about it. And then I started working at a coffee shop part-time. Vanessa, actually, she saw this post of Pam was the owner of that coffee shop. And she's like, oh, look, this person's hiring. Maybe you can try part-time. And I've never worked at a coffee shop, even though I was passionate for coffee. So I was like, oh, let me check it out. So after working there, that really just opened up my eyes more. I've always dreamed of having a coffee shop, but working there just made me kind of take a different path. Like, you know what, maybe if I ever do something with coffee, I won't start with a coffee shop. I'll start like even smaller. So at that time online, that's something that I'm like, maybe selling coffee online and stuff like that. That came to mind. But so after some time, I just had this passion for it, my heart to do it, but it was just by myself. So I was still kind of scared because although I'm passionate for coffee, when it comes to numbers and like stuff like that, or selling the product, I'm not that great at it. So, I would just pray about it. I would, tell people about it, but mainly just praying and asking God, just direct me, just tell me when is the time to do this, or put people on my path to help me, do this dream of mine. And then, so I met Vin, and, after we started dating and stuff like that, he saw how passionate I was for coffee. So I started telling him about my dreams and how I, want to sell coffee online and then do a coffee truck and all these ideas. And Vin is very like, all right, let's do it. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Let's just, he's like, come on, let's find, a supplier, let's find a roaster. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like he literally just went in there, like threw himself in the water and like, let's just take a risk. So yeah, after he really was the one that pushed me. And so with him and he's the person that's great with numbers. He's great at negotiating, and he's great like salesperson, where I'm more administrative. I'm more like behind the scenes. I'm more like community and stuff like that. So we really just blend well together. So yeah, so that's how it started. We launched in, I'm going to say, the end of August of 2022. And it's been flowing. It's, it's a little slow now, but it's still going. Like we do have some customers that, like I have a customer at my mom's church that this is the third bag he's bought. He can't like live with that. He's like, oh my gosh, it's the best coffee. He'll drive to my mom's house to pick it up. So stuff like that. I'm like, wow, that really touches my heart. We do have a lot of ideas and a lot of things to kind of just put ourselves out there more. We started with doing videos, like the unboxing and stuff like that, just playing around with it to see what people like, to see what they like to see. So we're still, working on that. And then we have a lot of ideas for the future. Like I feel like collaborating with other businesses is a great way to also get yourself out there, because you're working together and you're also, people are getting to know you, and you're not just doing it alone. You're collabing with someone. So we did collab with Steven with the cookies and stuff like that. And we also did with the Crafty Lab, which they're in Garden State Plaza, and they're like, they do crafts and like different things. So we're going to actually have a meeting with the owner of the Crafty Lab, because that's my friend's husband. And yeah, we might be doing some coffee classes there. So that's what we're going to be talking about, what our next steps is going to be, how we can promote our coffee there. We currently have our coffee bags there. So, now it's just kind of finding the logistics, finding like, okay, how are we going to make this work? Like to, maybe brew some coffee and keep it in a thermal so people like get free samples. They get to try our coffee, and then, our bags are there. And then coffee classes, I feel like people would like that. Learning how to grind your beans, how to brew, and, so that's pretty much the next steps. We want to get into catering as well, like doing like a coffee wagon type of thing that We can kind of like what we had at church with the flower little truck that they had at church on Sunday where people were buying flowers. So something like that where, you know, people will book us like for a wedding, bridal shower, birthday party, you know, we'll have like different packages with coffee. So it's just a lot of ideas, but a lot going on right now too with us getting married and doing all this stuff for the wedding. It's kind of, I can't 100% put myself into devoting into the coffee business, but, you know, I try not to get overwhelmed and do a little at a time. And yeah, and I also have my job, so I can't, you know, fully be 100% in the business yet, but that's pretty much it. We're just, you know, learning along the way, and, you know, we still have a lot to learn, but so far it's steady and it's going. It's definitely going. And actually, I wanted to share with you guys our new bags. We used to have we used to have like the brown paper bag that we started with. So one thing about us, like I'm big on starting small. Instead of doing like big at once and spending so much money, like do something like that's nice, but not overspending, you know, just baby steps. Yeah. So I've always loved black bags, but they're a little bit more than regular, the other bags. But these are the ones that we did. And then with these bags, we did one of my favorite verses is Joshua 1:9. So we put the Bible verse back here.
Nice.
So, you know, one of our goals is for people to, whoever buys our coffee, even if they're not Christian, I don't know, maybe gets curious or some way this coffee bag like is going to bring them to God, or, you know, whatever, like if they're going through something or anything, you know. So we started with Joshua 1:9 and we put the verse, so we'll see how it goes. And yeah.
That is great. No, I love that. I love that you're incorporating your faith into your business.
Yeah.
I love that again, when you're doing a business or anything, right, you have all these ideas, make sure no idea is a bad idea, right? Because it's helping with your creativity. It's helping you kind of flush out what's best for you, right? And your partner and your company. Right. Yes. So I love all that. I love the collabs that you're doing. I've actually seen, you know, what you've been posting, and I can see the growth. Right. And so that's the beauty of it, that as you're going along, you're always gaining and learning something new. Right. And that's the beauty of being in these type of forums, because then you will get ideas from each other. Not everything may work for you, but you may get a nugget that's just right for you. And I've definitely seen that growth. And we've bought coffee as well, several bags. My husband's like, "Oh yeah, we got to support them." And
he's so sweet. Gino's so sweet, and I love when people like just post, like almost like everyone here that's purchased, they posted and done like cute videos or pictures, and I just love that, you know, because it's just like it's so sweet. And Gino, like he's bought like 5-6 bags at once. I'm like, oh, he's so sweet. He's just
and
like,
we gave them away for Christmas.
So he was telling me, he's a great gift.
I got a coffee for Christmas. A frost. No, what is it? A froster.
A froster.
The froster. Yeah,
I included it with a froster.
Oh, those are cool. Yeah, I like those.
Marie, what is your social media page?
I'll write it in the chat here, but it's MB Beans Coffee.
Yeah. Right. And if you got the email from me, I included in that reminder as well. And I'll post it also in the page, so that those that weren't able to make it will have it as well, to her business page and her IG as well. But yeah, we're so proud of you, you know, and Vin, for what you guys are doing, and just taking that leap of faith, right? That to me, it's what it's all about, that we all have these dreams that oftentimes we've put in the back burner, and it's like, start working towards it. Do a little bit at a time. And then just do it. Sometimes you have to do it afraid and trust that God is with us. Right. And you know, we do our part, he'll do his. Right. But we have to oftentimes, right, step out in faith, which can be very scary. Very like, okay, I'm not sure what to do, what not to do. But that's why learning is so important, right? And I think in this day and age, there are just so many resources at our fingertips that we can tap into. I mean, YouTube has just about everything you want to learn about, and stuff that you don't want to learn about. But get the good, spit out the bad, and type of thing. But go ahead, Marie.
No, I think like writing things down, like you were saying. So I had written down way before I even met Vin, like what I wanted. Like I just felt it in my heart that, one day this was going to become something.
Yeah.
So, it's just writing a little at a time, even if let's say you don't work on it that year or that month, but at least like writing it down, it does do something because it keeps that like motivation in you. And I never want to go ahead of God. So that was something that I'm like, Lord, please lead me and don't let me ever go ahead of you, but go alongside of you, that you lead me. And it just ended up working out. And then Vin, he wasn't into coffee like that. I mean, now he drinks it more. But he really like, he loves the science behind it and the way he's learned and he's grown. And it's just beautiful to see, and I feel like we just work well together, like the areas where I'm not good, he is. And just praying over, like now with our new bags, praying over it too. Like, I told him we're going to pray once we're done with all our bags, like pray over it, that whoever buys this, like that, this leads them to God in some way or some hope, and, that it just touches lives. I also in the future want to do like community stuff, like something like this, or like where like chats or something where, because that's what coffee is. You go to coffee shops, it's community, it's getting together, it's talking about life, it's enjoying a cup of coffee while you're, getting together. So that's something that's important to me. It's not about, I need to sell coffee and like make money. No, it's about like, being in community and like meeting people and, like seeing where it goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, at least we know we tried and we did it, Yeah. So either way, we're just trusting God, to be honest. Whatever business you do, I think it's just trusting God and asking him to reveal when is the best timing to dive in.
For sure. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Marie?
Hi. How did you decide which bean or where to get it with the so many?
So I've always, when I worked at the coffee shop, I got to try different types of coffee. So Ethiopian was one coffee that I tried that it really tasted so different than like any other coffee I've ever tried. So we were just looking up. So we get our coffees from the country, but we have our supplier that's in Seattle. And we then found them and then set up a call with us to talk to them. So we get the beans come green. So once we get it from them, they ship it to our roaster in Brooklyn and they roast our coffee to our liking. If it's medium roast or light roast, and they grind our beans as well. So pretty much just Googling like how to start, getting like the beans and having it transported to get it roasted. Eventually we want to be that person that works directly with the country instead of having that middle person. Because, that's also an expense. Like coffee is very expensive. That's why we only have 2 right now. But God willing, we'll see how much more. Yeah.
I thought of something too when you mentioned about doing like little venues and, setting up like the pop-up things. So I'm vegan and coffee is on my yay. I can have lots of coffee. So I go to the vegetarian and vegan food festivals. Sometimes it's in Atlantic City in the summer. They have them in, I know they have them in New York. They have them right
New York.
But they have same thing. You have small startup companies that pay whatever the fee is to have a table there. And I had never even heard of CMOS gel. And when I went there and listened to them talk about it, I said, all right, well, what do I got to lose? I'll try it because, something for thyroid. And anyway, I buy from them and order over and over and over again, just because their tables, I would have never heard of it. So that might be really good, especially like one of those festivals. Like I said, it's one of the few things people who are vegan can still enjoy.
Yes. Yeah. We've done pop-up shops, but the ones that we've done was during the winter. So it was inside. But for sure, like this summer, we're definitely want to look into like farmers markets or things outside that we can pay for a table and have our coffee there. So yeah, that's definitely, that's great way to have people to know us. And the last one that we did, we were giving out samples. My friend Vanessa actually helped me to set up and do all that. And yeah, so it's really great. And that's definitely something that we want to do in the summertime, to do that again, but outside instead of inside.
That's great.
But that's great about the sea moss. I have thyroid issues, so that's something that I'm also looking into. I know Eneri always encouraged me with that and told me that's good and stuff. So I know somebody that goes to church that she's making them now, and it looks really good. So
yeah, I saw that she's posting that as well. But I started taking, I know it's not the conversation, but since you said about your thyroid, I took it just figuring it can't hurt. Didn't really expect it to change my levels. But when I went for a checkup 3 months later to renew my prescription, they said my thyroid levels changed and I'm actually taking a little bit less medicine.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, I've been on it for 20 years, so I don't know why all of a sudden now I'm taking a little bit less, but
that's
it's got to have something positive.
Yeah. Do you have hyperthyroidism or
hypo, underactive.
Yeah, I have overactive. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely, I want to try that out.
Amos is great. Any other questions for Marie? This is great. Lots of sharing. I love it. And Natalie Chappie is on, and she's the executive director for the Lee Business Improvement District. So she has a lot of events. So definitely connect with her, Marie.
Cool,
and yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I think what I need to work on a little more is like the website. I mean, it's running, you can order from there, but it's definitely not where I want it to be, where I see it, that it can be at its full potential. Mm-hmm. But I try to not beat myself up, because you can go down in a sinkhole and then it's just like, oh, everybody's doing like better than me. So one thing for us, I don't want to compare myself to, there's a lot of people doing coffee. But it's a little step at a time and things that I have to learn, and it's just getting there. But yeah, the website's something that I want to make it look more modern, better, but at least it's there and it's running. So
baby step. And just remember, just for anyone that wants to try to do something new, even like when we're talking about the CMOS gel, the coffee or whatever, because you see so much of it, you think you can't do it, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a competition. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not a competition. If God has given you an idea and you're doing your research and you're going forward, He will bless it. If it is the wrong thing for you to do, He will help you pivot, right? And give you the ideas that you need. So don't discount it. Don't discount those dreams. Don't discount, those ideas that are coming to you. I always go back to what the word says: write the vision and make it plain. Write your stuff down, write those ideas down. Because out of that, right, out of you just pouring out into the paper, the right stuff will pop out at you.
Yes.
Right?
Amen.
And obviously we're going to be in prayer and just seeking for God's guidance, right? And He'll put the right people in your path. One of the things that I love about these courses, is making connections. Mm-hmm. Making connections with each other, women that can help one another to succeed. It's not about competition. It's about providing value and sisterhood.
Yes.
Right. And how, because there's enough money out there for all of us, right? Enough, creativeness, enough businesses. We can definitely move forward, right? But do your homework. Mm-hmm. Do your homework. So and take it easy. And it's like, don't feel like, oh man, because it, like you said, going down that rabbit hole is very easy, right? Because, as you're seeing other people's postings and what they have and what they don't have, I look at some of them just to get ideas. Oh, okay, that may be good for me, right? Mm-hmm. But not to compare myself, because their journey is different than my journey, right? But I'm trying to hone my craft, right? And make sure that I put out a good, whether it's a product or for me, a service, right? I need to make sure that I'm doing my homework and getting informed and knowing the statistics and knowing what I need to do to do my job well, right? Yeah. And or, if you have a product, to do your product well to the best that you can, but it's not to compare yourself with others, right? We're not doing this for comparison. We're doing this to go forward and press into what God has for us.
Exactly.
And, you know, we can do it. We can definitely do it.
Agree.
It's like we just have to kind of silence the noise and stay in our lane into what God has for us.
I agree.
This is turning into a really God moment, but
no, it's okay. I mean, all these coffee shops and people that I see on social media that really like have a lot of followers and doing like a lot. But then again, they've been doing this for a long time as well. They're already established, you know, everyone starts the same way, like, you know, small and having to like get customers and stuff. So, but like you said, it's good to see their content and how they do things and just learning about it. You know, everyone's going to have their own way of doing things. And, you know, it's just, I agree. It's just not comparing and letting yourself like beating yourself up for it or trying to be perfect, because then that's another thing. Like with these videos, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, I do re-record, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna post this, and I noticed that I say this a lot. I say a lot, but now that's gonna help me for the next one, like to keep that in mind. But I'll still post it because, you know, I'm not perfect. Like I don't do videos for a living, so, you know,
and that's okay
too. If it's something that you love, like you said, you were just passionate about it, you loved coffee, you wanted to work it, you wanted to learn about it. The fact that it's something that you enjoy and that you're passionate about it, that's like the top priority. I mean, of course, you want to make money, you want to be successful, you want to hope that other people are going to like what you're doing. But ultimately, when you enjoy what you're doing, you're just always going to do what's going to benefit your product or your service. And people are going to come to you because of that. You know, so even if it's a slow process, you know, it's just having the heart in it, I think is going to just push you forward.
Yes. Amen. I agree.
Yeah. And it's that heart and authenticity, right? That draws people in, right? Because people want to buy from someone they trust. People want to buy from someone who is providing a good service or product. Right. And so, you know, like we were talking before, having these videos are important, but you can, I'm speaking to myself here, when I did like 20 takes to have like one, because then we start criticizing ourselves for the way we speak, the mannerisms, this and that. And we all have to start somewhere, right? But there are actually resources to help you with that, right? So for speaking, there's Toastmasters, which is a great organization that will help you, you know, and I did it years ago when I was doing a lot of presentations at my job, and it helped me. And now I have to retake it again, right? Because we fall back into that nervousness. But Toastmasters actually, you know, they're helping you speak in front of a group, which we're all in the same boat learning. And some of them have been, you know, at it for a while. So then they can give you tips on what to say, and those those filler words that we use, right? They can give you tips on how to overcome that. You know, don't be so quick to say them. Just pause. There's
That's what
power in the pause, right?
Yes, there is.
So, but it's a great organization to get involved in. I'm actually going to be signing up for it again.
And I signed up for that.
Yeah.
So I've never spoken in front of like people, you know, like very few times at work in a meeting that I would have to, but at least in front of the camera, it's just me. So it was nerve-wracking at first when I did it with Vin, because Vin does not like to be on the camera at all, and he was very nervous, and I'm like, you know, try not to be so like blah, like, you know, like say, you know, be more into it. But I need to learn how to get better at that. But then again, I try to be mindful not to make it perfect, because I'm always picking at things, and I send it to my friends. I'm like, oh my gosh, I said this too much. Oh, like, you know, and sometimes people don't notice. They're like, what?
Because we're our own worst critics.
So I'm learning to just kind of like just put it out there, and it's okay. Like everyone will always have their opinions, no matter if you're doing something great or not. People will always have their opinions, and that's just part of life with everything that you do. So it's just not getting so fixated on like, oh, I have to like make sure I don't like mess up, or you know, like I want to be as authentic as I can, still being professional, but you know,
authentic.
Like I'm perfect.
There's something about being able to laugh at yourself too.
Yes.
I think people like to see that you're just human,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I do blogging, so yes, everything is edited, but every once in a while I'll say something that just sounds so ridiculous. I'll laugh at myself, you know, and my daughter would be the one filming. She's like, "No, mom, just leave that." You know,
Okay.
that's you being you.
Yeah.
And sometimes things that we think, oh, that was ridiculous, or I kind of said the wrong thing, is something that is going to actually draw someone's interest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was funny, or that was cuter, and you don't even realize it. So just just be yourself.
No, it's true. Yeah, I actually wanted to do our first video. I wanted to be like a bloopers, kind of like what church does when the pastors keep messing up, they stop and then re-record. So I wanted to do something like that because we did mess up a lot. But then again, I'm like, I don't even know how to like do that. But it's just, you know, learning and down the road, because I think it's funny, and I love watching bloopers like from movies and stuff like that. I think it's hilarious. I love when people like they're filming and then even actors like they mess up and then they laugh and then they do it again, and you know, so I want to learn how to do, you know, stuff like that. I think it's funny, and yeah.
I like what Natalie put on the chat. Give yourself grace. You're doing great, and I agree. Thanks for that, Natalie. It's like we are definitely our own worst critics, and we get into our head, right? And it's like, no, hold on. Yes, practice. Yes, you know, do your due diligence, but be authentic. Be you. Yeah. And hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about perfection. Yeah. Right. Because we're not going to be perfect. There's nothing that is perfect. And when it is too rehearsed and it just doesn't come across authentic. Yeah. Right. So
I agree. So it's just learning, and
yeah. Thank you. So what's the one thing that you've learned in this process since you started that you can say, man, had I known that this was going to be so hard, I would have done it differently?
I think so. With this business, like, because I'm doing with Vin, like it's our business together. I don't feel like I'm completely doing everything alone, but I do. Like, I feel like when we first launched, our first coffee was Ethiopian, and I think we should have started with Colombian, because we saw how much more people go towards the Colombian one, and how people know more of that. Only like real coffee drinkers, like that go to specialty coffee shops, will appreciate the Ethiopian, will know like, oh, this is, but majority of people that may drink coffee every day are used to kind of like that same like taste, you know, and Colombian is
brew.
One of them. So I think, you know, we should have maybe just really thought about it more and write down the pros and cons and stuff like that. Like, we loved how the Ethiopian tastes, but what do we think like customers are gonna like more? Like, what are people gonna go towards more? So I think that, you know, and I feel like we pretty much just like launched it and just went right in. I think planning a little more and better and taking our time, at least for me, it helps better to maybe I could have done the website better instead of like, oh, we got to do the website and get that going. And you know, but I think we have to learn how to be more organized with Vin and I, because he's more like flowy and I'm more like, I need to plan, I need to know, like we need a chart. But
you guys blend well together though. Remember that you guys blend well together though.
Yeah, you're right. So,
thanks, and it's already off to a start. You get me? So it's like things that every business is always rebranding somehow, some way, whether it's changing their websites, whether it's different types of contact stuff, you know? I think the props to you guys, and like, it's like the coffee's out there already. Yeah. And being, you know, you guys are being recognized, and you guys have, you know, our church community, our church family, like, backs you guys up with prayer and support, that I think sky's the limit. And my encouragement is don't put too much pressure, because God knows your heart and God knows where this is gonna go. And again, like Natalie said, that grace, you know, give yourself the grace and knowing that everything will fall into alignment.
Yeah. Amen.
And I can't wait for those coffee classes, because I want to do coffee. You should also even for my 40th birthday next year, I think I want to do like a coffee type.
Oh, cute. Yeah,
that's
want to make it cute.
like that's a good, like very unique thing, you know, like not everybody, you know, like there's painting, you know, paint and sip, but like a good brunch with like how to make your own coffee, and everybody leaves with like their souvenir is leaving with their coffee stuff. Like you were talking, I was like, oh, I know my birthday's a year. Well, my birthday's Monday, but my 40th birthday is next year. So I'm like, oh, that's a good 40th like coffee brunch. What? So yes. So look at that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Excellent.
But yeah, I think you asked me what was hard, and I don't know if I answered it, but it's just
you did.
pretty much getting organized. And I feel like that's where Vin and I is kind of like, we need to just learn how to just come up with a schedule or like a monthly meeting, you know, even though we see each other often, but just like something that we just talk about the business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're the ones that label our bags and go to Staples and ship it and do all that stuff. So
that's small business for you. That's what we do. A friend of mine was saying, yeah, she's like, you're the CEO, you're the director of marketing, you're the social media, Yes. Like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's, you know, for now. Right. And so till it starts getting bigger and until you can pay someone else to do those things. Right.
Yeah. So with social media. Yeah, that's another thing that's been very hard is the posting. Like I don't do it every day, and I'm trying to get like somebody told me like, what is your business like your page? Like you don't want your pictures to all look like different. Like use the same font, use the same colors, the same filter for everything. Yeah. You don't want it to look like mismatched, and that's something I didn't even know. I'm like, oh wow, you're right. It does make sense. So I follow this other page that I love how he has his page and he takes pictures of coffee and different things. And it's like cozy feel, like, you know, like that dim colors. So, but yeah, that's something that's been hard. It's just posting and sometimes like, oh man, what do I post? Like, do I put coffee quotes? Do I, you know, but I'm not trying to beat myself up and a little at a time. No. And, you know, I just don't want to be too silent where people are like, oh, what happened to them, you know?
Yeah.
So one of the things, I'm just throwing this idea out because I've helped Lighthouse in the past with social media content. We would take a day and take like whether like our banquet's coming up. Oh, well, no, I'm not in Lighthouse anymore, but the banquet's coming up. So we would like back then I would take a day, and while we were doing like the photo shoots or recording, like I would take tons of pictures of that day. And then I would come up with like quotes or like different like things of like, you know, like I would take pictures of the chapstick. Oh, that's a one way to connect with people. Like that's how I came to Lighthouse, through their chapstick, right? And I would share stories. So like maybe schedule a day where it's like, even when you're out with Vin, like out, like take a picture of like the coffee you're drinking or like the view that you're there, right?
Yeah.
Once you think, you know, Canvas is great with picking like
yes, I use Canvas a lot.
And then just take a day where you take a bunch of pictures and you find a bunch of quotes and then you schedule it out where it's like, okay, this is one day I'm taking 10 out of all the pictures I took. Maybe there's a good 5 or 7 or 10 even sometimes.
Yeah.
These are That's different quotes, and schedule it. And it's not like, yeah, you're posting every day, but it's something that you grab from that, let's say that Sunday afternoon that you can use for that week. Or like even stretch it in if you know your week is crazy. Okay, let me use one day where it's like, and even like with like the network that you have, like, you know, like between like Vanessa and me, like, hey, if you see a cute picture and you're drinking, like take it, send it, like send it my way. And that right there is like takes the pressure off of like, oh, I have to go out. Like use your network to be like, hey, if you see a cute picture of like a coffee or something that goes with coffee, like, can you share it with me? And I think that will take the pressure off of like, oh, I have to find content and just kind of
that's what's stressful.
Using what's around you and then just scheduling. I forget which app we used to use, but there's this app where you can write your contact and schedule it at the same time as the same, like, you know, like the days, and then that can also alleviate the whole like posting every day. Schedule it out like the days you want to post.
So Marie, you said you use Canvas or Canva?
Canvas. I write it in here. That's what I usually do with, you can do pictures and videos, and it's free. Of course, there's like some of them that are pro, and that's, you know, you have to like pay, but it's really great. It's easy to use, and then you can like delete and like put your name and stuff like that, your logo. And I do it from my phone. So like the Christmas ones, a lot of the pictures that I've used through Canvas.
Okay.
It saves
So
to your phone.
I just want to make sure, because there is something called Canva, CAMVA.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's Canva. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. So because I use Canva as well for my posts and to, generate postings. And Natalie will go next. But they also have a content planner in Canva for the paid subscription. So you can do them through there as well.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a lot of free tools that you can use.
Yeah.
But if you already use Canva, that's, look into the content planner there, because you can post it directly to your social media pages. Natalie, you have the floor.
So first of all, I've been browsing through your Instagram while you've been speaking, and I noticed that you do some like brand collaborations with other brands. But is that, for example, the pastry chef that you're working with or that you've worked with in the past, is that to sell the products together, or is your coffee found in his recipes?
Yeah, so we work with him. So he makes cookies and our coffee bag is in the packaging. So yeah, our coffee is not in his like cookies, but our bag is in the package.
So I'm thinking that gave me an idea, because my husband's also, he's a chef as well, and he has a pretty successful barbecue business. And one of the main ingredients in his barbecue rub, and I think most barbecue rubs, is coffee. So you partnered up with like, different chefs, or even different brands that use coffee. Like I know some skin care products do have coffee grinds in them as well. So that's a good way for you to, just put your brands and your name out there, is kind of just collaborating, but not so much in the sense like you could buy a basket and both of our things will be in it, which is great. But, you can use this product.
Yeah.
And it's inside, our coffee is inside that product, whether it's a body bar.
Yeah, that's great for sure. I definitely, I believe we go to Marriage Transform on Fridays.
Okay, so maybe I missed you. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with like names. I'm getting better.
It's okay.
And there's a lot of people there.
So in person, but yeah, we never talked in person. But I think I know your husband does the barbecue stuff.
My husband actually walked by as we were on this call, and I was on the Instagram, so he did recognize your husband immediately.
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
fiance. Sorry.
Yeah, we're getting married in April, so yeah, we took. Yeah, I was at first. I'm like, where are we doing Marriage Transform? We're not married yet, but Mr. Barrett was like, oh, you did Symbis. You guys have a date, and it's been great. So.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited for Marie and Vin. So
yeah, thank you. And Natalie, if you want, I'll talk to Vin, and then maybe I can bring you like a sample of the Colombian coffee or ground. And he can test out one and see if he likes it, or if he doesn't, it's because I don't know what he needs like a dark roast, but we can, I can give you a sample and you can test it out.
Yeah, and you guys can kind of, I think help each other out, because I know one of the things, he does make his own barbecue rubs as well, and he's trying to just boost up his e-commerce. So
awesome.
Might be help each other out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So any last words? Because I know we have 2 minutes left, and I want to make sure that I got everyone. Marie, this has been great, very enlightening. Thank you for sharing. Any last words before we close out? Go ahead, Cindy.
I just have another suggestion for the Instagram. You're saying like if you're trying to post and you just don't really know what else to post. Mine is fitness. So coffee mugs have nothing to do with it, but I used to always collect coffee mugs whenever I traveled, to the point where I literally had to stop because I can't fit them in my cabinet. And I did this thing. I only put on my Insta story because it's not really related to my fitness, but just so what, I wanted to. And every morning when I have my coffee, I would take a picture and I would post the coffee mug of the day. It was called my travel mug of the day.
Nice.
Where it was. But for you, maybe having people who are buying your coffee, have them take a picture of whether it's them with their coffee or in their coffee mug, send it when you have like nothing to post, just something. It's just like a little filler, like, hey, this is for the area. Like this, my coffee made it to another town or state, or you know, something like
that's
that.
Great. Yeah, I love coffee mugs too. That's a really, really great idea. We actually just launched, before I know we have to go, we're going to start selling like with our coffee, like K-cups, like 2 K-cups. And because a lot of people have been asking for K-cups. So it's the filter ones though. So you can pour your coffee in it, but we've been testing it out. I know Vin has sold some already at work. I haven't launched it yet or put it on the website or anywhere just because I want to get the content for that. But I think that's going to be something good because a lot of people use the Keurig machine. So yeah, we're going to start selling like our coffee bags with 2 filter K-cups. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that
I can take that to work.
idea is great.
I actually, if you go on your Insta, I put on my Insta story today.
Tag us.
One of my favorite mugs that says "Trust in the Lord with all your heart," and I put it on the window, and I by the flowers, so I took a little cute boomerang, so you see the heat of the coffee coming up. So, yeah. And I gave Eneri a shout out too because I put Midday Brew with Eneri. So
nice, thank you. Now I want to go drink some coffee.
Yes. Thank you, Lainey, and everyone here, and Eneri as well. Thank you so much for I was nervous at first. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. But I'm like, Lord, you're in control, and we always learn something from each other. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys all for joining. I can't wait for our next one. You guys have a lovely day, and don't forget, keep dreaming, and God's got you.